Good day, juicies, juice drops, and everything in between. Today we're making this orchid praying mantis look, but first, some backstory.
So a super cool cosplayer who's a friend of mine gave me a recommendation to go to Michael's and Five Below for certain items. Oh, the sunset, by the way. Oh my god. Like back there. Can you get into that? I always thought Michael's was over here and like a few miles away there's Five Below. I never thought that the plaza that Five Below is also has a Michael's. And I should have known because they have home goods. They have a Blaze Pizza, which I might go to as well. This plaza has everything I need to make this praying mantis look, this orchid mantis look. I've been going to this plaza since I was literally a child, so that's where my spatial awareness is. We are connecting dots in 2025, period. That's a period at 4th of July.
Okay, so let's get right into it, because that heifer was just talking some nonsense over there. So this is the design I ended up drafting, and make some noise for me, because I sketched this on an iPhone with no stylus, no nothing, just my grubby paws. Now let's recreate this look. So yeah, we made the raptorial legs, which are the little arms that the mantises have. We created it out of EVA foam, and it's not my first time using EVA foam, but it's my first time using it for something like this. I had to cut out each of the little teeth with an Exacto knife, and you could imagine like my fingers were killing me. But we were gluing everything, all the EVA foam, with contact cement. And the best way to use contact cement is very carefully, very sparingly. So I had to put my whole can into a bottle like that. And we were using such little amounts to really cement down those teeth on the arms and stuff. And because I'm pretty sure I have some form of undiagnosed ADHD, I can't work on one thing at a time. So I started making the pattern for the bodice slash bodysuit that I was making that was gonna go under the exoskeleton of the Orchid Mantis. And shout out to all my friends who came over to the office to help me. Most of the time, y'all were just there for emotional support. But shout out to y'all. Y'all know who you are. Emma, Caitlin, Indy. Ah, the ancestral urge to sit around and craft things with your friends. Am I right? And because this mannequin has my exact measurements, we're able to get patterns that will match exactly what the fabric would need to be when we take the tape off of the mannequin, you know, so I'll be taped right in, I'll be nice and snug in her. This technique is used a lot in the cosplay community, amongst drag queens, basically anybody who needs to create something that fits, you know? Make some noise in the comments, leave a comment if you've used this before and what you've used it for too, because I want to know what you use this technique to make, because I want to show the girls out there the versatility and that there's no right or wrong way to do anything. You can do anything, you can make anything, you just gotta have enough masking tape. And see, back to the raptorial legs we go. We're over here gluing some last minute seams over here with some hot glue. One time I saw a praying mantis in my backyard. It was on a flower, so I got in real close to see it, and it was eating something. It was actually eating a bumblebee, and I had never seen the inside of a bumblebee. It was crazy. The praying mantis was eating it like a sandwich. Oh, look at me praying there. I'm praying. I'm making, please don't open up on me. Please, seam, stay closed. Look at me just going in on the. I had to make sure not a seam was split. Come on, girl. There I was probably like changing the song, as you can see. Very real. Very realness right there. Realness behavior. The key to creating anything good is having a good playlist, baby. And she keeps on going. Yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point she's almost ready to paint. Structurally, she just had to be nice and sound, you know what I mean? We didn't want anything opening up or ripping open after the paint went on, so that explains all this, you know? And to paint it, we first had to prime it, so we used Plasti-Dip, and it needed a few base layers while painting it in order for it to be fully primed and other colored paint to stick on it just fine. It's basically like adding a layer of plastic onto the foam. So it needed a few layers, and it wasn't so easy to do that in the cold, in the frigid winter temperature. But the good part is, I didn't even need to lay out a tarp because the snow had that job covered for me. But here's a pro tip. Most spray paints on the directions, they say you shouldn't be spray painting in lower than like 50, 40 degrees weather because the paint won't spread so evenly and it'll be a lot more drippy than like atomized. So in order to get around that, what I had to keep doing was putting the spray cans in hot water for at least 3 minutes, and that would make like a more even disbursement of the product onto the subject, which is the foam in this case. But I know you guys see it snowing and the wind is just pushing this arctic blast of frigid, frosty, cold air onto me. But hey, that's art. We live, we die for the arts. We die for the passion of the Christ. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, guys. But there's Indy dancing in the back while I make the thorax. Yes, we are passing our SATs and using words like thorax, which is basically like the butt of an insect. And so I'm using the same technique. I'm making it out of aluminum foil, putting masking tape over that, and making patterns for the EVA foam. Hello, y'all. It's me again. So I was having storage issues while recording the rest of the making of the Orchid Mantis. So I just had to do it and it got done eventually. But now I have no footage. I didn't see YA enough to include how I made the rest of it. So instead, I'm just going to narrate it to you and plug in any visual aids and diagrams that may help in the explanation, okay? So after I had made the pattern for the thorax, I had traced that same pattern again out on EVA foam, cut that out, and then used contact cement once again to glue everything together. And that gave me my thorax. I still needed the orchid exoskeleton that I was going to use on the upper body. The rest of the exoskeleton that was going to come up to here, up around my head, I figured that was going to be a lot more flat and more flush with my back. So I had just went free for all cutting on a big sheet of EVA foam. And from there, I was using my handy dandy heat gun that you use on EVA foam to bend and mold the back of the Orchid Mantis skeleton. Once we had a nice sound structure once again, we primed absolutely everything with more cans of Plasti-Dip. I really wish I had enough storage to record the process of painting her. I really do. Because honestly, that was the most satisfying, just seeing her all come to life. Once she was all painted, I got to work on the vinyl bodice, cutting out the patterns that I had made on the masking tape and sewing those vinyl patterns together. From there, I had to figure out how I was going to attach the exoskeleton to the vinyl bodice. So what I did was I added a few snap buttons right here that would keep the weight of the exoskeleton from falling backwards nice above the bust. It would pull it from the bust, so it would give support to not only the bust, but to the back. It would keep them together. I also added a few Velcro pieces to the vinyl. I had sewn them on so that the extra arms of the exoskeleton can attach to the vinyl bodice while also giving some lateral, some horizontal details on the bodice because I felt like it wasn't giving enough. Like we needed some extra details up in the vinyl bodice itself. Now, once that was all done, once we had our raptorial legs, our exoskeleton, and our vinyl bodice, according to my original sketch, I thought I was done. But let me tell you, everybody forgets sometimes. I don't know. I forgot that, orchid mantises have antennae. So luckily I had a lot more extra EVA foam that I had just easily cut and formed into what I think these antennas would look like. I had glued them onto my head that night with spirit gum. And yes, it was falling every now and then, so I had to throw some extra glue in there in the wig I was wearing. Those are like after details, you know. I still might make an Orchid Mantis headpiece that would go with the Orchid Mantis attire, a costume, dress, fantasy wear, whatever you would want to call it. So stay tuned for that. You know, art is never finished. It is only abandoned. So after I performed in it, I did add more details with this acrylic paint just to make her look very, very orchid-like. You know, the pink was cute, the petals were cute, but we needed those orchid spots in there. So we added some of those details. And that's how I made this crazy kooky look. I hope you guys loved the look. I hope you guys love this video. If you did like this video, like and subscribe. And if you didn't, just send it to somebody who would. Send it to somebody who loves art, who loves drag, who might need some tips and tricks on making some crazy kooky things themselves. Send this video to anybody who has used EVA foam or may want to use EVA foam in the future. I hope this video gave you some creativity, some inspiration. Well, until next time, my juicies, my cummies, my love drops, my juice drops, and everything in between. Keep it very, very juicy. Now this is the final look in its full glory. If you want to see what song I did, what performance I did, click this card right here to see me perform in this look. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.